All right, so continuing on with chapter 8, the next section is going to be adjusting inventory. Okay, now inventory is one of those items, right? Because we have to purchase these items. This one can change its value over time, especially think about it, right? When you have things like technology, right? When you purchase it, you can't expect to have a life shelf for that long because there's always going to be newer upgrades to technology, right? Um, better camera, better resolution, right? And because of that idea, right? If you, for example, let's say I purchased the iPhone 10 and fast forward right now it's 2022, right? Right now, the iPhone 14 is into works and the iPhone 13 is so far right now what's currently selling. Now, with that idea, right, what happens to all of those iPhone 10s that we've purchased? Now, in this case, it's almost obsolete. It's because iPhone 10 was just one of those iPhones that was just the one of the you know, it had a lot of problems, very lots of defective things, right? But at this point, its value for an iPhone 10 right now is probably $300, give or take, 250 minimum. Okay, so think about that. Now, can you take that iPhone 10 and fast forward now in 2022? Do you expect to be able to sell those items at the price it is for an iPhone 13, which is almost what, $1,300? Can you do that? Probably not, because think about it. The iPhone 10 compared to the iPhone 13, there's a better camera, there's a better screen resolution, maybe the size of the phone is also a little bit bigger. The glass that they use has a special technology where it's thinner and slimmer. Okay, there's always going to be technological improvements to those items and products. So in this case, what happens is that whatever amount that you purchase those iPhone 10 for, right, is definitely not going to hold its value fast forward right now in 2022, right? Because again, back then you were able to sell it for $1,000, but now, no, you're probably only going to get $250 most out of it. So think about it that way too, right? And think about if you did purchase an iPhone 10 today, right? What are the chances that they're going to have the parts available, right? It becomes obsolete because they're not building the iPhones 10 anymore, right? I believe it's discontinued. They're starting to build the iPhone 14. So at that given point in time, this is why in our society, we have to adjust our inventory because it loses value over time, especially with technology. Everything's going to just be advanced, and it's just more easier and better to buy improved and better stuff, right? So that's the idea here, where we have to actually make adjustments due to the market, right? The market's going to be telling you, hey, this you cannot sell this product at this price anymore. So how do I adjust my inventory according to the market? Well, you have two options, right? You can either adjust it based on value, like total value, or you can adjust it based on quantity. And of course, you also have a combination between the two as well. Okay? So let's take a first example here where we're going to be adjusting the quantity of an item. Okay? So how would I be able to do that? There are a couple ways you can do it. The most common ways that you would do it would be on the home page, right? You go click on items, activity. You click that drop down menu. You have the options to adjust quantity or the value. Okay. You also be able to find that by going up to the vendors um, menu and be able to go into inventory activities, and you'd be able to adjust the quantity and the value. Since I'm already here, let's just go ahead and click on that. So here you go. I'm on this window. And for any reason that I need to make changes, so I can click on this drop down menu. What am I adjusting? Am I adjusting for quantity total value or am I doing it for both? Okay, so in this case, I'm only going to show you 2 examples because it's pretty straightforward. Now, who's going to be telling you this information? Whoever is your inventory manager or whoever is your purchasing position. Why? Because they're going to be the ones that's going to be telling you, oh, hey, we need to adjust our inventory because the value that we purchased it back then, a couple years ago, it's not holding its value anymore. All right? It's lost its value due to the market. Okay? So in this case, someone's going to be telling you this. You won't figure this out on your own, right? You're not going to be sitting on a computer looking up the product every single day and see the price drop. No. This is something that you usually do. It's considered an adjustment entry that usually happens within a year. You would see most drastic change. If you do it every single month, it's only going to change by a couple pennies. So these things usually happen towards the end of the year. Okay. So when am I going to do this? Right? We decided it's going to be done on January 31st of 2022. Okay, it doesn't really matter the date. It's relative. So in this case, what account am I going to be doing it? Never ever are you going to be using your opening balance equity, okay? In this case, right, we're talking about my inventory. Now, because right now what I'm doing is I'm recording an adjustment. I am recording a loss due to the market because I originally paid for it at a full price, right? And what I'm doing is I need to adjust it to reflect my books and my balance, right? But I have to make it so that when I do sell my products, right, it's exactly for what it should cost as of today. So in this case, I have to create an account which already exists. Now, they use inventory variance account, okay? So, again, it says that this is going to be related to an expense. Just click OK. Because right now, we're adjusting the inventory because we lost value over it. Therefore, it's going to be considered an expense that happens to the company because, right, you paid for it in advance for so much money, but it lost value over time. So in this case, this is going to be an adjustment to an expense account, which this, in QuickBooks, is called inventory variance. You can choose whatever kind of title you want to say, lost due to the market, loss on inventory, right? Whatever it is that you want to use it as. But they use inventory variance account, okay? Now, what adjustment reference number this is going to be? This could be any number. So you could use this as, let's say, for instance, I could say this could be an inventory -1, right? Is it assigned to a customer/job? No. Is it assigned to a class? No. Right? Because inventory is for both. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and say this is what happens. I'm going to be adjusting the quantity of my, let's say my metal picture frames. I think it is metal. Okay, I'm going to adjust that one. So I'm going to adjust that to, let me see. So right now I should have metal. No, in this case, I have to do wooden. Now, okay, for some reason, your book says I have 40 of them for the metal. Sorry, I didn't do metal picture frames. For some reason, your book says I have 40 of them. Right now, it says that I have 0 on hand. That's not right. I should have way more than that. Oh, it's because it's January. Okay, so I have to do this as of April because I bought them. Okay, there you go. So when I click on this, right, there you go. I have 20 of them. Now, for some reason, your book says I have 40 of them on hand, which I don't because we already done our inventory stock status. So I'm going to have to adjust it. So in this case, I could say I have 18, right? Why do I only have 18? You can think of it this way, right? You could say, well, maybe I took 2 of those metal picture frames to put it on display. I'm not going to sell those 2 items, right? I'm going to have them for display. So I need to take 2 of those items, but it's not going to cost me money. I'm not going to pay for those metal picture frames. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the quantity to say that right now, the value of my metal picture frames is right now like $150 to $50, right? By me adjusting it, I'm going to say that I have 18 of them for the same price. All right, so there you go. I type in what my adjustment is, my new quantity, which is 18. So that's going to tell me that I'm subtracting 2 of them. And any memo, you could say used 2 picture frames for display. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and click save and close. Okay. So let's go ahead and run that inventory stock status report one more time and see what happens now. Okay. So inventory stock status by item. So now let's take a look. Now it says that I have 18 available on hand. Now that's just the stock status. What if I go ahead and take a look at the value of my items, okay? So inventory, okay, and do an inventory stock status by item. Oh, sorry, inventory valuation summary or detail. Let's do detail. Okay, and I'm gonna say all so I can see everything. Now take a look at this. So we were looking at my picture frames metal, right? Now notice this, that on April 10, right, we received those 10 and 10. So I should have 20 available, and they're right now $21.50. Okay? Now watch this. Take a look here. It also included that I had an inventory adjustment, right? Which adjusted my inventory by 2. So now I should have 18. All right, so that's where I'm at right now. I have no idea why it has all these numbers. I have total frames as right here. I don't have 80 frames, so I don't know what I'm looking at right now. Okay, but all I know is right here tells me that this is what has happened. Oh, we're looking in the future. Okay, I only want to look at right now. So right now, that's what happens when I look at my detailed report right here. It tells me that the cost per item used to be $2.15. Then it adjusted all the way down to $2. And so the 18 is still $2.15, which now is adjusted to $38.70 total. So that's what you could do when you do an inventory stock status. I'm sorry, the inventory valuation report. It gives you a list of all what happened. So in this case, right, I purchase, and then I adjust my inventory from 20 units to 18 units. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do another one. Okay, let's do another one where I am adjusting my inventory value. Okay. So let's say I lost a value over time. Okay? Let's say so right now my value for my 40 wooden picture frames, right, is currently at $200. So let's go ahead and click total value. Okay? We're making the adjustment date for the end of February. Same thing, inventory a variance account, and it's going to be inventory -2. So the item that I'm looking here is going to be the wooden one. Okay? So there it is. So right now, my value for my wooden is 40 at $200. Okay? Let's say the price of wood dropped significantly, right? Let's say for some reason it's now abundant wood, it's very easy to get, or they mixed a, you know, piece of plastic in there that mixed with the wood to make it have a nice wooden finish, but it's actually not 100% real wood. So therefore, it lost value over time. So in this case, what value is it now? I can say it is now worth $180. Okay? And I can say lost value due to materials used for frame. Okay, whatever it is. And I can go ahead and click save and close. So let's run that report one more time to see what has happened there. So inventory inventory valuation detail report. So again, I want to look at everything. So if I go ahead and find my wooden ones, here you go, right? I purchased it, got 20 and 20, so I have a total of 40 items. And because I did a inventory valuation, right? And it used to be $200, right? Which cost me $5 per item. Because due to the market and the materials they used to create this product dropped in significantly in price, now that my value is at $180, right, it's dropped my cost per item to be $4.50. So this is what I'm talking about here, is that you adjusted the value here. Now, for any instances that you have to adjust both quantity and value, same thing, rinse and repeat. You just go to the same way, all right? But that's what I want to show you is every time you make a change to it, it will change the value, whether it is the value of the item itself, the cost per item, or the total cost. Okay? Any questions there? No questions? Okay. All right then. Let's talk about group items, okay? Now, I've mentioned this to you, right? Inventory assembly, right, is where you're combining existing items in order to create a new product, right? Now, what is essentially a group item? A group item is actually a means to just combine the two, but not mix them together, not create a new product. We call this a bundle package, right? For instance, right, if a service plus a free photo frame is going to be a bundle package, right? That is two separate items that are just sold together, okay? That's a group item, not combining the two to create a new product, okay? So in this case, right, let's take a look at an example of how to create a group item. Now, in order to create a group item, you need the essential steps first, which is creating your inventory item or a non-inventory item, and have those exist first. Because again, if you're creating a bundle, right, you need to have those pieces first in order for you to just be able to create the bundle package. All right, so in this case, the book already has it, okay? Or it's already set up for you. So all you have to do is just combine the group items. So again, we want to do a 5x7 picture frame with a 1 hour with 3 hours of retouching services. Okay, so let's go ahead and build that product, right? So we do have the retouching and we do have the picture frame. So let's go ahead and create this bundle package. Okay, so I click on new. What am I creating? I'm creating a group item. Now notice this. It's not going to ask you to actually create the item. It's actually going to ask you to build your list of what this product includes. So in this case, what is the title of this? I'm going to call this 5x7 retouching. Okay? Which in my description is going to include 3 hours of retouching services, okay, with one wooden 5x7 picture frame. Okay, so that's what my group item is going to consist of. So all I have to do is select my item. So the first item I have on there is my retouching services. So there you go, retouching. And how many of those? I said 3 hours worth. Okay, and what do I get also included in this retouching 5x7? I get to get one wooden picture frame for free. Okay. Okay. So then I can go ahead and click OK. Now notice this. There is no price point on here. That's because in this case, you're combining 2 of these items that already exist. Each item has its own selling price. So what essentially is happening is you are going to have to adjust the sales price on the form, okay? Because in this case, right, when you usually buy bundle packages, right, it's supposed to be significantly less than if you were to buy them individually. So it would make no sense if you created a bundle package and they just were the same price, right? Then they could have just bought the same 3 retouching hours and got the same picture frame for the same price. So in this case, how do we make this adjustment? Okay, so once we do this, okay, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So let's take a look at, so that I just created a group, right? I added 2 and 2 together. So then let's go ahead and actually sell this to a customer. Let's go ahead and sell this to Miss Maria Cruz. Okay, Miss Maria Cruz. There you go. Grabbed her. Okay, she belongs to the San Jose location. Okay, so we can ignore this because this is just an example. Now let's watch this. What did I buy? I bought 1, okay, of the 5x7 retouching. So here it is. Now watch this. Once I've done that, because it's a group item, it's basically going to list out all the items that are included in that package. So here it's going to include the retouching services, which is going to be $95 per hour. And it's going to also include that 1 picture frame for what I charge for $10. Now, what you can do here is you can make an adjustment. Maybe the package is buy 3 hours of retouching. I'll throw in the picture frame for free. So in this case, I can make my price adjustment here saying it's going to cost $0, right? It comes free, right? All you have to do is have one criteria. Now it says you just made changes. I said okay. And I said okay. So there you go. $0 for the picture frame, okay? Because it's free. Now, because I bought 1 of a $0 picture frame, that means it's going to cost me $0. So, in this case, all I am charging is just for the 3-hour services, and I throw in the picture frame for free. However, I have to adjust these numbers on the sales form as I go when I build my group items. So that's something that you have to keep in mind so you don't forget that you have to adjust it on the sales form instead of charge it for the full price. Okay? All right, so that's a group item. All right. Oh, excuse me. Hey, okay? So, any questions there? Okay. Next segment we have here is going to be called units of measure. What is units of measure? Okay. This is where oftentimes as a person who is, or not a person, a company who is selling, right? You want to make sure that you keep your costs very low and keep your prices not too high, but just enough for a customer to be willing to buy your product, okay? Now, by doing so, right, you're going to find that buying in bulk or buying in wholesale is going to be significantly way cheaper than to buy everything one at a time, right? So you might want to purchase things in bulk. And with that, so for example, Costco, right? You could buy a whole box of 50 little bags of chips for what, $5.99? Where you go to the store and buy one little bag of chips, it will cost you $1.25 or something like that, right? So think of it that way, right? You're looking at a unit versus a purchasing in wholesale. Now, most cases, if you're selling a product, right, you will never ever need to purchase it individually, right? You just purchase it as a wholesale. Now, again, when you have those kind of deals, right, and you purchase it in bulk, you would have to separate the packages in some kind of measurement, okay? So if I buy a whole box of chips, right, 50 of them, right, 50 bags in one whole entire box, and I sell it to my customer, they need to know that they're getting one bag or they're getting each, right? Each bag. So that's going to be considered a unit of measure where on your end, you purchase it in bulk. You are buying 50 bags, right? While when you sell it to a customer, to let them know what each item represents on their sales form, instead of saying quantity of one of what? One package? No. You want it to be one bag, or for example, right? So I need to set this up. So if it's something that you want to have, you definitely want to go ahead and set this up. Is it required to have it? Not necessarily, just because, again, if you feel that it's best that you let your customers know what they're buying, because quantity of one can mean anything, right? If you want to be very specific and tell your customers that you are selling them 1 hour, one package, then you need to use the units of measure. So starting for the first one, we're going to go to your preferences here, and you are going to set this preference, okay, in your items. Okay, so items. Okay, items and inventory, company, and you're going to this section right here. Are you going to have units of measure? If you do not have this enabled, then you're just going to sell everything at a quantity of one, right? You're not having a descriptive quantitative amount to measure, right? So I'm going to click enable. Once you've done that, now it's going to walk you through this, okay? So what are you going to be using this as? As a single unit of measure? Yes, why not? Okay, and I go ahead and click finish. Okay, so I go ahead and click OK. So that means I'm going to save my changes. Okay, so that means when I go ahead and insert, for example, an item, I need to set up each item with its with its appropriate units of measure. So I'm going to go to my my items list one more time. And this time I'm going to be selecting my item, okay, which is going to be the 5x7 metal picture frame, right? Now, how can you edit this? You can just double click on it and you'll be able to edit it. Now, notice this, because I toggled that I am going to be using units of measure, it's now enabled, right? So now I have this additional section right here saying, okay, so when I do sell a picture frame, what is it going to say? Now, in this case, my units of measure, I don't have anything there. I need to add one in here. So I click on add, okay? Now it's gonna walk me through this. What is the picture frame going to be a unit? What kind of unit of measures are you gonna be using? So in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and select right here. I'm going to select, okay, I'm going to go ahead and select each. Okay, so let's take a look. I got a count, I got a length, I got weight, volume, area, time, and other. So in this case, I'm going to choose other. Next. What do I want to call this? I'm going to call this each. Okay, what's the abbreviation? EA. Right? Oops, I just put in my enter button. And there you go, each. That means every time I sell one picture frame on its sales form, it's going to tell me that each picture frame is an each, right? Meaning it's giving it quantitative description on what one means, okay? One of each. And I'm going to click OK. So then when I end up selling, once again, maybe I'm going to sell again to Maria Cruz once again. Okay, and I sell to her a 5x7. Okay, quantity 1. What is the item? 5x7 metal. Okay, and then watch this. Now it populates as each, right? What is the units of measure? 1 5x7 metal each picture frame, okay? Which is going to cost me $5.99 each, okay? So that's just, again, it's just a way to make sure that you let your customers know what are they buying from you. What quantitative value are you going to be giving them? In this case, each picture frame is 1 each, okay? And save and close. So that's an example right there. Okay, any questions there? Okay. So here the book also tells you that when you are making purchases of the inventory, right, you're going to put it on your purchase order, right, when you buy the picture frames. Now, because the units of measure is currently under each, that means when you are buying in bulk or buying in batches, right, you're going to put in the total quantity, not the batch itself, meaning you're not buying one packet, right? You're buying one packet that comes with 10 picture frames. Then that's what you have to refer that. You're buying 10 picture frames instead of one, okay? Okay. All right, let's see. No questions there? Okay. Last couple sections we have left is going to talk about inventory assembly. Okay, now I've mentioned this to you guys before. Inventory assembly is where you're gonna take a bunch of items and you're going to create a product from those items. Okay, so again, I gave you the example, a bakery store, right? Eggs, sugar, flour, milk, whatever. All of those are ingredients. They're gonna be considered inventory items, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna combine those items to create a cake, which is a unique item, okay? Now, that is the huge difference between an inventory group and an inventory assembly is you're actually combining them to create a unique product, okay? So again, think of any places. So for example, a coffee shop, right? Starbucks. They create unique drinks, but all they use as their supplies is milk, syrup, and ice, right? It's a combination of all three of those, right? But at the end of the day, what are they doing is they're creating a unique product which is unique to that store. Okay, they're creating frappuccinos, they're creating cappuccinos, whatever it is that you want to see on whatever you understand. Okay, so with this kind of concept, so again, you can as a small business be able to create this product, right? Instead of being a distributor or someone who purchases from someone else and basically resells it, right? This one gives a opportunity for other businesses to create a unique product in regards to their company. Okay, now only Premier and Enterprise has this capability to create inventory assemblies. If you have Pro, unfortunately, you are not able to create a product. So again, especially for a very, 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 very small business, right? That's going to be a choice whether you create a product or whether you resell a product, right? Most small businesses usually resell a product, okay? But there's also quite a few handfuls. So again, a mom and pop shop that sells donuts. What are they doing? They're creating those donuts themselves. They don't buy the donuts and resell them, okay? So let's go ahead and dive right into how I create an inventory assembly, okay? So like I mentioned before, right, you need to have, first off, you need to make sure that you have enough items in your inventory to be able to create the products that you need, okay? But you also need to have the recipe. You need to have the recipe to be able to build the product. So let's first start off with what product am I building? Okay? So I'm going to go to items and services, and what I'm going to be building is a special camera. Okay? So let's go ahead and create my recipe first by going to new, and I'm going to be utilizing the inventory assembly. Okay? Now, once we get to this inventory assembly, notice this. It looks very similar to the group one, except there's a lot more different segments here. There's a cost of goods sold now, and of course there's an income account and whatever items that you're going to be placing here. So how do I fill this out? Well, first off, since I'm going to be building a camera, what is this camera going to be? This item is going to be this item is going to be an SR32 camera package. So again, SR32, or I guess you don't, SR32 camera package. Okay. What's its units of measure? It's one package, right? So again, I can type it in, and then it's going to ask me, I need to set it up. Okay, so again, what's its name? Package. What's its abbreviation? PKGE, right? PKGE. And finish. Right? Now, what is its description? Or in this case, let's talk about the cost. Well, in this case, right, we are going to say that this camera is going to, since it's a combination of a lot of the items, the cost is going to be subjective, meaning the cost can cost me as much, right? Because maybe my cameras, it's going to change value over time. So I don't necessarily have to have a cost unless I can pinpoint exactly how much is the camera going to cost, how much is the lens going to cost, how much is the case going to cost, right? then you can go ahead and figure that number out. But in this case, I'm going to leave it 0 because what if someone wants to make a custom camera with this SR camera package, right? So in this case, if you have a pinpoint exact amount how much it's going to cost you, then you'll fill that in. Okay? My description is going to be SR32 camera package with 2 lens and 1 case. Okay? That is my recipe right here. Okay? So again, when I sell it, it's going to be considered a cost of goods sold. So next section is, what is my selling price? In this case, I can set this selling price up. I can say I'm going to charge $1,275. Okay? And of course, I'm going to have it taxed. Income account, what do you know? It's going to be for sales. Okay? So what are the items that I'm going to be having? I'm going to have the camera. So here you go. Camera SR32. I'm going to have one of those. Okay. Next one I'm going to have is the lenses. Okay. I'm going to include 2 of those. And I'm also going to include 1 case, right? Just to hold everything up together. So this is my items here. And of course, we're going to make sure that I should have at least 1 camera package on hand at all times. Okay. So here it's telling me, okay, well, your cost is going to be $800. That's only if you're going to be using this cost instead. So it's up to you. Again, if you want to have it per package, right, then you can put that there. But again, a lot of these parts come out separately. So it's gonna cost you $864, and you're gonna double the price of it, and not double the price, but you're gonna be charging your customers $1,200 for it. Okay, so this is just building the recipe. Okay, and I'm gonna click OK. So there you go. I have the recipe. Is that I need 1 camera, 2 lenses, and 1 case. Now, before you can build your product, okay, you have to ensure that you have those inventory items available. So I'm going to run my inventory stock report real quick just to make sure, do I have enough to build 2 cameras? Let's see. I have lenses. I only have 5. So therefore, yes, I have definitely enough to build my my packages, right? Here, I also have 2 cameras. Perfect. The only thing I don't have is my cases. So therefore, I need to buy 2 cases. All right? So whichever vendor you go to, you're gonna make a purchases of 2 lenses, 2 cases. Okay? So I'm just gonna go to, maybe I go to the store and purchase it from Wong and Son. Okay? Wong and Son. None of them. W-O-N. There you go. Wong and Son. Okay? And I'm going to switch to items, and I'm going to buy cases. Okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to purchase 2 cases. Case. Okay, I'm going to purchase 2. Okay, there you go. So it's going to cost me $45 each case. So it's going to give me a total of $90, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and say, yes, I'm going to pay for it. Okay? So then now let's double check again to make sure that we have everything that we have. That we have our two cameras, two cases, and enough lenses. So in this case, I purchased 5. So there you go. I have 5 lenses, 2 cases, and 2 cameras. Perfect. Now I can go ahead and start building my product. Okay. So how do I build my product? Well, you got to go to the vendors menu. Okay, and you're going to click inventory activities and you're going to build your assemblies. Okay, so again, only a couple places you could do it. You can't do it anywhere on the home page, obviously. You have to go through the vendor center, or I'm sorry, the inventory activities. So if you click here, you could build assemblies here, or you could go to the vendor menus, inventory activities, and build assemblies. Okay. So again, you need to create the recipe first before you can build your assemblies. Okay, so that's first. You got to build the recipe first. Second, you got to make sure that you have enough items available in order to create your item. Once you have all the necessary things, that's where you can go ahead and set to build your assemblies. So again, assembly item, what are you building? I am building my camera package. Okay, that's also one of the things that you need to set up is you need to set the inventory assembly item first for you to be able to list it on here. Okay, what's the date? That's fine. Again, what's my building reference number? You could say 2022-1, right? Doesn't matter. As long as you have a reference number that you are building this product. Okay? So again, here it will, since I put in the inventory assembly item in here, it automatically pulled out what I needed. It pulled out the recipe saying you need a camera, you need a lens, and you need a case. And here they say this is what you have available on hand. How many do you want to build? So that's where you have to go down to the bottom, right here where it says how many items do you want to build? In this case, I want to build 2. Okay, or I want to build 2. Okay. Any memos? Nothing here. I mean, you're just building a package here, so not really necessary. So what happens here is like a little update of what that you have available. So I want to build 2 of them. Okay, because I have 2 cameras, 2 cases, and 5 lenses. That should be enough to build 2 camera packages, right? Once everything looks good, I can go ahead and click on Save and Close. So then now I built my product. So where is it now? Okay, where is my product? Well, let's run that report one more time for the inventory stock status one more time and check it out. Now I have an assembly item, the SR32 camera package. I have 2 available to sell. All right, and that's how you build your products. Now, of course, you can use your sales form to go ahead and sell those packages by, clicking on an invoice, putting that item in, and being able to sell it. Okay, so that's what you have to do when you are creating a unique product that's specifically for your company. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Yes.
So, when building the package, um, my programmer said that giving them a frame will mess up the account.
Giving them a what?
Um, for not this assembly one, but the previous one, the group, um, the retouching with the frame.
Huh?
It gave me. Didn't you change the price of the frame from $9.99 to 0 on the
Uh-huh.
invoice for Maria Group?
Uh-huh.
It gave me a warning that not charging money on the frame will mess up my assembly, my account.
It's okay because at the end of the day, you still
Yeah.
sold it, so it's still going to subtract 1. Yes, because in a real world you're not supposed to sell anything for $0, but this is something that we say that, oh, we get this free because you're buying this, it's a package. So yes, just go ahead and click yes and just say I understand the warning, right? But at the end of the day, even if you go through your inventory, so let's go through our inventory valuation,
Okay.
and it should still reflect that you have X amount of, so right here, since I sold it, I have 17 picture frames available, right? But what I'm looking is I want to see the value of it. So this is also where, if I go ahead and click, oh, wrong one. I'm supposed to click the detail report. So inventory valuation, detailed. So if I go ahead and click all, what I'm going to see here is that for my wooden picture frame, even though I did sell that one item for $0, right? Did it really affect my account? No, it still took out that $7 or $4.50. So they just warn you because in a real world, I know this for experience, as a person who buys these things. Nothing is free. It's usually a penny,
Yeah.
right? They have to charge you something, but in this case, we can override that
Yeah.
because, again, we use QuickBooks to help us do this. But as you see here, when I sold that one item, it didn't necessarily affect my inventory at all. It did. It said I sold one, which cost me $4.50, and it adjusted it correctly.
Okay.
So in this case, it just gives you a warning just to say that no, you can't be charging your customer $0 for this. But in this case, the package that I invented, it's supposed to have that picture frame for free. But really, you're supposed to put on there like you charge 1 penny, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
That's essentially what the free means. But again, if you get that error, just ignore it because it didn't make any drastic change to or affected my inventory like that.
Okay. Thank you.
So other than that, since we're on this page here, right? Again, what kind of other inventory reports can you do? So we already saw valuation and we saw stock status. Those are the 2 common ones that we normally use, okay? You could do a physical count. You can even print out the inventory worksheet so you can take a physical count, right? Not very many reports you can do, but mostly you want to also check out your purchases too. Because here, when you purchase by your items or by vendors, right, that's where you're gearing towards making sure that when you send a purchase order out, are you receiving those purchases? Okay, so those are what you can do there. All right. Okay, so we are pretty much done with chapter 8. Any questions in regards to chapter 8? Okay. No? All right. Then let's go ahead and finish off today with the multiple choice. Okay, your job is to select the best answer for each of the following. Okay, number 1. Okay, which item types should be selected when adding a new item that you buy and or sell but don't keep track of it? So again,
C. C.
letter C, yes, non-inventory parts, right? You don't care to keep track of it because maybe you do sell it, but you don't sell it as often. So think of it that way, right? If you don't sell a product that often, do you really care to keep track of it? Oh, yeah, that camera. It's been there for like a while now. If it sells more often, then yes, you'll obviously have to keep track of it because then you're going to be worried about the next person who comes in and tries to buy it. But in this case, if it's a product that you don't really care to sell or care to keep track of it, then you use a non-inventory part. Number 2, If you pay sales tax to more than one agency, you should use which of the following?
A.
A, sales tax group. Yes. Okay. So I talked more so for this in chapter 3. Okay, but in this case, in this chapter, they taught you how to create the sales tax item and the sales tax group item, which I skipped because I already did it. Okay. Number 3. Okay, if your vendor, okay, ships more than you ordered, okay, on a purchase order. Okay, so that means you got an overshipment. Okay, which of the following actions would not be appropriate? Now this one, there's 2 answers to this one.
B.
B is what the book says. Okay, the book says that you could receive the extra shipment and then of course using the inventory adjustment for the transaction. Now in this case, right, that is wrong. Why would you say? Oh, well, I meant. So in this case, right, I'm saying it's wrong to do it. Okay, that's what I meant. Not the answer's wrong. It's wrong to accept an overshipment and just adjust it to your inventory because you can, right? Because this is basically telling you that you accepted the extra shipment and you're hiding the cost by making an adjustment saying you're changing the value of the inventory because you didn't pay for it, or they gave you the extra shipment, they didn't charge you for it. So in this case, no. That is definitely very wrong. You should not do that, and that's the correct answer, right? What would not be appropriate? That's definitely not appropriate to do. However, let's take a look at D. You could receive the extra shipment into your inventory and then send it back and then record a bill credit in QuickBooks. First off, they sent you the shipment by accident. You're going to send them off and then expect them to credit you for it? You didn't even pay for it. So that is why I say D is definitely not appropriate, because you're saying, oh, they sent me extra stuff, I accepted it, but then I sent it back and now I'm demanding them to give me a credit for it. Why? First off, they sent you the wrong shipment. Second of all, you can't ask them for money because they sent you the wrong items, right? They can only do that if it's a refund. In this case, D, I think, is going to be one of those wrong answers there. Okay? Because you shouldn't be receiving a credit for an overshipment. Okay? Number 4, when setting up a group item, okay, where do you enter in the sales price?
C.
Letter C. Correct. Okay, the group item does not include a sales price, right? Where do you adjust it? On the sales form directly. Okay. Number 5, okay? To activate QuickBooks inventory,
E.
as in dog?
Yes.
Correct, right? You're going to select the edit menu and then select preferences and then click on the items and inventory preferences and then click on company preferences. Yes. Okay. Number 6, the inventory asset account.
D.
D, as in dog, is correct, right? Increases when inventory is purchased, right? And decreases, again, this is just additional, and decreases when inventory is sold. Okay, so in this case, letter C is wrong because it doesn't increase, it decreases when you sell it. So good. Number 7, in QuickBooks, in QuickBooks Pro, Premier, and Accountant, inventory can do all of the following except B as in boy. Use the LIFO, FIFO method to determine the inventory cost is correct, right? They only are only capable of calculating the average cost. Only Enterprise allows you to be able to do LIFO, FIFO, and the other costing methods. Okay? So good. B is correct. They can do all of the following except those. Number 8. Which of the following statements is false in regards to purchase orders?
B.
Purchase orders that include inventory items are posted to the inventory account at the end of each month. Of course, that's wrong, right? It posts it immediately as soon as you receive it. Okay, but in this case, this is purchase order. So purchase orders that include items that you purchase post to the inventory account at the end. Now in this case, purchase orders does not post at all. They're non-posting transactions. So it doesn't post it to inventory accounts at all unless you receive the items. Okay, so B is definitely false, right? It doesn't post at the end of the month. It doesn't post at all. Okay. Number 9. Okay, to display the window used to record inventory adjustments in QuickBooks.
Is it C?
It is C, right? You're going to go select the vendors menu, select inventory, adjust inventory activities, and then select adjust quantity or value. Okay. Number 10, okay, which of the following is not a report available through QuickBooks? A, goods in process inventory by item. Okay, good. That is definitely not one of them, right? We've seen inventory stock status by item many times, right? I think I ran that report maybe 20 times in this lecture. Inventory valuation summary. Yes, I did use that. And of course, item quick report. Yes, because this is one of those list items that have a quick report. Okay. Number 11. Okay. Which of the following statements is true regarding the recording of receipts of inventory items? So which statement is true?
C as Charlie.
C as in Charlie is correct. Of course, you can record a receipt against a purchase order even before you receive all of the items you ordered. Yes, remember we call those packaging slips, right? Those are the item receipts that you collect, right? You can, of course, be able to have all of those before you get your actual items. Number 12. When entering a bill for the purchase of inventory parts items, okay, what tab on the enter bills window should you use?
A.
A, items, right? So again, if you don't know what this is talking about, if let's say you don't use the purchase orders, okay, and you say you don't go to the store and pick up the inventory items, right? What this is referring to is, let's say you still end up receiving a bill anyway. You go to the enter bills, right? It's the same thing as when you write a checks. You have two options. You have your expenses, which is only your accounts only. But if let's say you end up buying your inventory, right? You can select the items tab, and that will allow you to enter in all your inventory items here. Okay. Okay, number 13. Okay, before setting up your inventory, it is a good idea to think about what products you will track, okay, as inventory parts, because
B as boy.
B as in boy says you could use the non-inventory part item, okay, if you do not need, okay, a detailed report, and of course on the inventory status information about the certain product that you sell. Yes, of course, yes. Right? B is the correct answer. Okay. So again, you don't have to always choose inventory part. You have the second option to choose non-inventory part, just depending on, again, how often do you sell the product, and do you want to keep track of it? Okay. But at the end of the day, even if you choose either or, right, you're still gonna know the inventory stock status on those items. You could still run or you will know how many items you'll have on hand at all times. Okay. Number 14. You can adjust the inventory by
D.
D as in dog, both B and C, meaning you can only adjust the items quantity and you can only adjust the items inventory value, okay? You can never adjust the accounts. You can, we just don't talk about it in this chapter. Yes, you can. We'll talk about that in chapter 14. Okay. Number 15, okay? When processing a vendor's overcharge, okay? What do you not want to do? Okay? So another negative question. C. Okay, use two separate accounts when recording the overcharge. Excuse me, and then refuse. Sorry, or refund or credit to keep the transactions from becoming confusing. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do two separate things, right? You choose either or. You either issue the refund or you actually uh or you actually just issue the recharge or refund. That's it. Okay? You don't want to do two separate accounts or two separate things in regards to this because again, it will get confusing. Okay, so if they do send you an overshipment or an overcharge, right? You just address the vendor and you just ask the vendor for a vendor credit, okay, or a refund, either or. Okay. All right, that is the end of chapter 8. Okay.